So how does this work?
From a phlebotomy perspective, in this business model, there are actually three primary stakeholders, right? One is obviously the patient. Second are the participating labs, and then the third is the actual phlebotomist who render the service to the patients and the labs. So what we do is we onboard all the labs at a pre-agreed price for lab tests. So typically we get it at lab-to-lab rates, at wholesale rates. And then through that we are able to offer discounts to the patients. So from a patient's perspective, we have created a marketplace so that they have the choice of the labs. So we are not in any ways pushing a patient to go to a specific lab. So we provide the entire option of the labs to the patient. So the patient basically ends up choosing, the prescribed test, whatever test that they want. The technology system will let them know all the labs in their area which perform those tests, and then the patient will be able to make an informed decision based on price, turnaround time, their ratings and everything, and then they can basically book an appointment for home collection. So that's the patient as a stakeholder, right? Then what happens is the request gets transmitted to our in-house trained phlebotomist. It can be part-time or full-time, but they all go through our stringent training program and certification. And it's more like an Uber-like model from a phlebotomist perspective. They pick and choose the time and the area that they want to operate. So if a request comes from a specific area, then those phlebotomists will get the request transmitted to them, and on a first come first serve basis, whoever accepts the request is the one who's going to go and do the service part of collection. So we have designed our own kits. We use extremely high quality materials for the blood collection. So our phlebotomist goes, collects the blood, and then the blood is transported in a temperature controlled manner, and it is delivered to the lab. So to the patient, we offer extreme convenience, choice of labs, price. It is very competitive from a pricing point of view. They'll definitely get it at a much lesser price compared to retail values. And then we kind of guarantee sample integrity. So until a point where the sample is delivered to the lab, we are responsible for the blood sample. So since we promise sample integrity, we make sure that we have done whatever we could do to make sure that the results are accurate.
How do you do that? Sample integrity. How do you guarantee that when you draw my blood, you're going to give the blood in the way it's supposed to reach the lab? How do you guarantee that?
So there are two things which we do. One is the technology. The phlebotomists carry our own in-home developed mobile app. So the app will clearly tell them it will guide them through the standard operating protocols of phlebotomy service. It will tell them the order of draw, the amount of blood that needs to be collected. Everything is inbuilt. The tubes are all pre-barcoded. So it will make sure that the phlebotomist is not going to collect the blood in a wrong way. It will ensure that it is collected in the right way. And we use high quality materials to ensure that nothing gets contaminated. The process is convenient for the patient, and single prick is a given. We ensure that it's always a single prick, right? And then the way we transport the blood samples in a specially designed kit in a temperature controlled way kind of guarantees that sample integrity.
So also in a hospital setting or in a lab setting, when a patient walks in, if somebody is obese or if it's a child, usually there are 3-4 people in the lab, one of them will come and take it. When you go home, how would you handle a situation when the patient has a special need, either being a child or being a little obese?
So we have our operations team manage that, right? So when we know that the request is coming for a child, we know who are the phlebotomists on board who have the experience in handling blood sampling for a child.
Okay.
So we ensure that the request gets transmitted to only those senior phlebotomists who will be able to do so.
Okay.
So as I said, we have thought about almost all scenarios, and we have kind of incorporated into the technology platform itself.
Okay.
Right. So we were talking about the stakeholders, right? So the patient is a stakeholder who gets all these benefits, and then phlebotomist, it creates a micro entrepreneurship platform for them. Anyone who is working in a lab during the afternoon shift, They are available in the morning to do phlebotomy service, and then they can earn anywhere between 15,000 to 20,000 additional a month, which is really a blessing for them, right? So they have been extremely happy about the fact that they are able to do that.
So you're saying that there's no supply problem for phlebotomists. There will be a lot more.
No,
people
there
who are
there
coming
are
on board.
there are a lot of phlebotomists available. We just need to make sure that we reach out to the right people and market it in a right way so that they are able to come and participate in it.
And nurses and other people who have phlebotomy skills, are you happy to also take them on board?
Sure. Anyone who has the phlebotomy skills and experience, we are happy to take them on board. In fact, some of our phlebotomists who are on board are actually performing full-time roles as lab technicians, but they've had a lot of prior experience with phlebotomy, so they work as part-time phlebotomist with phlebotist.
Okay.